get a move on. All right, y'all. This is what's left of the winter storm from part 3 of the winter storm in Lynch, Kentucky. So we're going to drive along through real quick before we officially get started. I'll tell you, Lynch, Kentucky has great history. It's one of the greatest cities ever in Kentucky. Not only for black people, but for everybody all around the world. Lynch, Kentucky will be one of the all-time greatest cities in Kentucky history. And that's just not my opinion. It's facts and the truth. Some of the greatest people have came from Lynch, Kentucky. Some of the greatest icons and legends have came from Lynch, Kentucky. And you don't have to go with my word for it. Okay, we're just gonna drive through Lynch real quick. I love Lynch, Kentucky because with the history here in Lynch, Kentucky, why would you not want to live here? And one thing I can say about Lynch, Kentucky is that if you choose to live in Lynch, Kentucky, it is very peaceful, very loving, and we are homebound in Lynch, Kentucky. Now, when we're driving here through Lynch, especially around on the right side, containing 1st and 2nd Street, 1st and 2nd Street still has a lot of black people, but the majority of that used to be black. The majority of Lynch, Kentucky, however, used to be black. But now it's mixed between black and white in Lynch, Kentucky. But I will always be admired by Lynch, Kentucky. What it is. And now we're driving through Benham, Kentucky. What's left of the winter storm in Benham, Kentucky. The winter storm part 3, that is. So this is what's left of the winter storm part 3 in Lynch, Kentucky. Now the winter storm part 3 really didn't do much at all like parts 1 and 2. So parts 1 and 2 did the most damage versus parts 3 in the winter storm in Lynch, Kentucky. And look at that beautiful mountain up there. The beautiful mountain. Ain't that mountain beautiful? Especially with the snow on it. Oh my goodness. That is very beautiful right there. You definitely can't go wrong with the beautiful mountains though, for real. That's one thing I love about the county versus the city. The city is very busy and I love the city. And the county is homebound. The county, you pretty much know everybody and it's very relaxing and peaceful in the county, in the country. Now we're driving through the rest of Benham, Kentucky. And Benham, Kentucky is just like Lynch, Kentucky. It's got a lot of history too. And we're going past the Benham Theater. That's used often from time to time. And we're going past the Benham Park. Some parts of that. But just overall, sometimes we don't take a moment just to recognize our history. We don't take sometimes we forget where we come from. And I just love for moments like these to remind ourselves where we come from. And why we do what we do is because of moments like these is what we do officially. And just look at the beautiful sky here in Benham, Kentucky. My goodness, that beautiful sky is beautiful. And it is very common right there. That's what I love about God's creation, is that God's creation, ooh, that's a beautiful woman. Speaking of that, ooh la la. And with that in mind, this is Poncho Blazing ATM, aka Reverend Joseph James Holland, at your service. And welcome in because I'm the social media and YouTube legend and future First Ballot Hall of Famer. I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized, staying saved, living right, doing God's will, and keeping heaven my home. And I want to welcome everybody, and somebody say everybody, to the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. Welcome to the 183rd episode. Ooh la la, Brandy. Ooh, Jesus. Brandy from Lynch, Kentucky. That's another one of my baby girls right there. La la. She's so fine. Yes, she is. I want to welcome everybody to the 183rd episode of the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. I'm so excited to see everybody tuning in, whether you're tuning in from the previous recording or to the live stream. Everybody is welcome on the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast, episode 183. In the country that I'm currently in right now, I'm in the United States of America, in North America. So I'm currently in the United States of America, in North America, in the good old US of A, and I'm living in Harlan County, Kentucky. And to all the YouTube Live Nation chat that is now tuning in, I appreciate all you all, YouTube Live Nation chat, for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know how old you all are and where you're from. That way we can shout you out. If you all have ever tuned into any of my live broadcasts or any of my live recordings whatsoever, let me know ahead of time. That way we can officially shout you out properly and correctly. And with that in mind, it looks like we have Poker122 tuning in. Poker122 V9F. Thank you for tuning in, and you're from the good old US of A. Well, I appreciate you, my US of A partner in crime. Thank you so much for tuning in, and it's so good to have you also. And to all the other YouTube Live Nation chatters that are chatting with us, I appreciate you all tuning in so much. Right now, as far as the subscribers go on YouTube, we are at 1.14 subscribers. So we are making it our mission to get to 1.5 subscribers, and we're making our mission to get to 2K subscribers. So eventually we are going to get to 2K subscribers, and we're going to get there in the name of Jesus, all by working together officially. So I appreciate you all in advance for getting me up to 2K subscribers in advance. We're already claiming that in the name of Jesus in advance. But in the meantime, everybody is always welcome in any of my live broadcasts, in any of the chats. I appreciate all of you all tuning in so much. Now, we got to take our first commercial break real quickly. I've got to drop something off at my brother's house real quickly, and it'll only take just a minute or two to drop it off. So when I do come back from the commercial break, then we will officially get started on the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast, episode 183. So let me just go ahead and get ready to get in here real quick. But in the meantime, we are going to talk about a lot of topics today. We're going to cover the 60th Super Bowl for the NFL. In addition, we're going to cover the late great Gale Saylors, the late great Mahalie Jackson, and we're going to cover colors only versus whites only. So all these topics, you definitely want to stay tuned and listen. But we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll come right back in about the next minute or two. right, everybody. Welcome back to the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. This is the episode 183. So we're officially on the 183rd episode of the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. And I'm very excited for everybody, for all around the world tuning in. Whether you're tuning in from the United States of America, North America, South America, whether you're tuning in from an international country, whether you're black, white, international, whether you're a baby, whether you're a child, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a young adult, a middle-aged adult, an elderly adult, whatever religion, whatever background you come from, it doesn't matter to me. I invite and appreciate everybody tuning in to all the YouTube Live Nation chat. At any time, you are more than welcome to chime in with me on the YouTube Live Nation chat. I don't mind it at all. And at all, you all can join the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast at any time. And with that in mind, we are just only 17 episodes, and somebody say 17 episodes away before we officially hit the 200th anniversary episode. So with that in mind, we are close to 200 episodes. So I don't know officially where we're going to be at for the 200th anniversary of the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast. But what I do know is that it is going to be great. And along with that, am going to try to bring some special guests onto the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast, if possible. I know sometimes with schedules, it's rough to bring special guests in, but we are going to do our best to bring special guests in while we can officially. And just a couple quick announcements real quickly. Now, Thursday, February the 12th, 2026. That is going to be Facebook Live with Poncho Blazing ATM episode 15. So you have to have me on Facebook in order to tune into that Thursday. So this Thursday, Facebook Live with Poncho Blazing ATM episode 15 will feature on Facebook exclusively. Be sure to follow me on Facebook in my regular page in Joseph James Holland, and be sure to subscribe to my Facebook fan page in Poncho Blazing ATM, where you can only subscribe to 99 cents. In addition to that, next Saturday, a lot of you all have been asking me about Valentine's Day. Well, this Saturday, rather. A lot of you all have been asking me about going live for Valentine's Day Saturday. I didn't think I was going to be able to this Saturday, but everything worked out perfectly. So guess what? We are going to be live for the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast for Valentine's Day. So for Valentine's Day, we're going to be on live for the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast, episodes 185 and 186. So for 185 and 186 episodes, we'll be on live for the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page in Poncho Holland Vivo in order to receive live notifications and in order to join the YouTube Live Nation chat. Look at that snow right there. That snow impacted everywhere. But the Captain Crawdad event for Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College will be taking place in Cumberland, Kentucky from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Captain Crawdad event at Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College will take place in Cumberland, Kentucky from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we just found out this information. February the 28th. So February the 28th, 2026, the NAACP Awards, the NAACP Image Awards, the 57th Annual Awards will take place. Now the pre-show will take place at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the live show will take place at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this will be featured on BET. So BET will be featuring the award show, and I tell you, if you've not watched the NAACP Image Awards, the 57th Annual Awards this year, you will have to tune in and watch it. I guarantee you, you do not want to miss that award show at all. It's professional, it's classic, and it's definitely worth watching. With that in mind, we're going to get on to our first topic for today. And for our first topic, we're going to talk about the 60th Annual Super Bowl. So now the 60th Annual 2026 Super Bowl, last night, it took place on NBC, NBC Sports, and Peacock. And it started at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Charlie Putt, along with Brandy, along with Coco Jones, and others performed the pre-show and the kickoff show. And from the start in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks pretty much dominated the Patriots. I mean, the Seahawks couldn't really score that much either at the beginning, but their field goals made up for it. And the Patriots, every time, they could not get out the drought. They only scored one touchdown officially and scored one field goal. And during halftime, Bad Bunny performed. The Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny performed. And it was one of the most colorful halftime performances that I've ever seen. I'll just say this. To me, he got a lot of heat and a lot of backlash from it. A lot of people said that he done great. A lot of people didn't agree. A lot of people said that it was a great show. A lot of people said that it was the worst show they ever saw. I'll say this. It's been better than some halftime performances that I've seen. To me, it was better than Kendrick Lamar's performance last year. That's just my opinion. No, it wasn't the best and the greatest halftime show that I've seen, but it wasn't the worst halftime show that I've seen. I've seen way worse halftime shows than that. And I've seen a lot much better halftime shows than that. So he was right in the mix, in the middle. I'm going to say it's one of the most colorful ones as far as professional and color-wise it is. The way that he presented his culture in all cultures. Now, he did a great job as far as that goes. But a lot of people's going to have mixed reactions. And especially on account of what he said and everything with immigrants and the President Donald Trump and everything. So you're going to get mixed reactions on that no matter where you come from. And where his music is in Spanish, a lot of people, especially in the United States of America, can't relate and don't want to relate to that. In the United States, you're expected to speak English, but I embrace all cultures all around the world. And we as the United States of America, as North America, as South America, have to try our best to try to connect with everybody all around the world. Not just people that speak English, but everybody all around the world. We need to learn how to connect with everybody all around the world. How are we going to make the world a better place if we don't learn how to connect with everybody all around the world? In addition to that, the Seattle Seahawks went on to win the 2026 NFL Super Bowl. I mean, like I said, they dominated the Super Bowl in 2014 against the Denver Broncos. And here we are 12 years later, they did the exact same thing almost to the New England Patriots. I mean, the New England Patriots couldn't get out of the drought except one time. And I was for my New England Patriots. I hope and I wish that they would have won on account of what happened to Bill Belichick. But the Seattle Seahawks did their thing, and they did their work regardless. So we got to give props to the Seattle Seahawks, whether we want to or not. They did what they were supposed to do. They came to win. And their defense all year long has proven that they're the best team. You know, you can score an offense, but if your defense don't do nothing, it ain't worth nothing. And defense wins championships. And for Seattle Seahawks, it was no different. And that's how they won. Speaking of winners, that brings me to the late, great Gale Saylors. The late great Gale Saylors was a former NFL football player with the late great Brian Pillman. Them two tore their house down for the Chicago Bears. They was originally one of the first black and white duos to be together, and they made history. A lot of people back then in the Jim Crow era, and especially a little after, didn't agree with Brian Pillman and Gale Saylors being together for football and playing together, but they made it work. They made it work big time, and because they made it work, now we see a lot of black and white duos combined together in everything, in sports, in church, in music, everywhere, all around the world. And I loved Gale and Brian both because at any time they could have had disdain for each other. At any time they could have said, well, no, we're not going to do this because I'm black, you're white, I'm black. At any time they could have refused to be teammates, but they didn't. They chose to be teammates, and they got the job done. They made history. They celebrated victories, and they got victories. And even though they was taken earlier than what they was expected, they will always be remembered for making history as a duo, and being one of the original first black and whites to team up together. And that brings me to the late great Mahalie Jackson. The late great Mahalie Jackson is a former jazz and blues singer. Her most recent known was her singing at the late great Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King's funeral. She was always one of the great singers. Her voice mattered everywhere, all around the world. Hey, and we got Rex in the building. Rex E. Thank you for tuning in once again to the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast and to the YouTube Live Nation chat. I'm so happy and so excited to see you, Rex. It is good to see you once again. And did you check out that Super Bowl yesterday? It was something else right there. But the late great Mahalie Jackson, she did wonders in jazz and blues. And she is always missed every single day. And to be able to sing at the late great Reverend Martin Luther King's funeral at that time when it was needed and necessary, that was a huge plus. Not only for her, but for everybody all around the world. At that time, we lost a great leader in the Reverend late great Dr. Martin Luther King in April 4th of 1968. And there was thousands upon millions of people that attended his funeral. And you should have seen that. I mean, it was packed. And you don't hardly see people walk to the cemetery and walk to the grave sites and walk to the churches anymore like they used to. We mostly just drive up. But in that time, they all chose to walk. And it meant something. It was powerful. It was emotional. And it was incredible to see. To be able to see that scene in person, my goodness. I mean, only a select few can say that they did that and seen that. And with that in mind, we are taking our final commercial break real quickly. And my favorite sport, Rex E, is basketball. So basketball is definitely my favorite sport. And with our final commercial break, we are going to come right back here in just a little bit. But stay tuned. In about 30 seconds, we'll officially be right back. Ooh, have mercy. There's another beautiful woman that I've seen right there. Oh, la, la. Have mercy. And she got that red outfit on too? Ooh, Jesus. Ooh. Wish I could have captured that on film. But we'll be right back in about 45 seconds. Alrighty. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. This is episode 183. So we're at the 183rd episode of the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. And before we get back to our final topic for today, I just want to say this. Later on tonight, it is going to be the late night version of the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. Because where we're going to be filming in the dark, guess what? It's going to be the late night version, the late night chat of the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast. And you know what that means? When we film late at night, it's going to be hot, spicy, and sexy talk. So it's all about that hot, spicy, and sexy talk on the Talking Poncho's Palace podcast later on tonight in the live chat. So in the live chat, you definitely want to stay tuned for the 184th episode later on tonight. So in the meantime, we're going to get back to this episode. And for the final topic that we're going to talk about coloreds only and whites only. Now, after slavery in June 19th of 1865, for 15 years, the world had a gap where everything was free and the rules and stuff was great in that 15-year gap. From June 19th of 1865 till 1880, you hardly heard of anything happening or any situations taking place. So for 15 years, we had peace, we had resolution, and we had silence. But in the 1880s, from the 1880s on to 1964, we had something called the Jim Crow era. And what the Jim Crow era means is that you had to follow a lot of rules and regulations. And I'll just explain this for most of y'all that don't know what it means. In the Jim Crow era back in the days, from 1880 all the way to 1964, if you were white, you basically got anything and everything that you want and bargained for. So if you wanted somebody dead, if you wanted somebody killed, if you wanted something to happen, you pretty much got it. There was no punishment or nothing like that. What up, Kentucky State Police? I see you all. Now, if you was black, that was different. Black people got it harder than white people. After slavery, there was really no set life for us. We was pretty much just put out on our own and expect to make it on our own. Expect to find things on our own. So we didn't have no set up houses, no set up jobs, no set up work, no set up homes. We pretty much had to prove on our own that we could do it on our own. And with black people in the Jim Crow era, things got a lot heated, just like slavery. Even though we was free as slaves, we wasn't free hardly to live our lives. A lot of white people did mess with black people because white people had advantages back then. White people could do whatever they wanted to do most of the time. And back then, black people, even though you've seen a lot of black people starting to be successful, as soon as you seen our success, a lot of white people did not like that. And because of that, they tried to burn our houses, our bridges, burn our vehicles, try to burn us, try to kill us, and everything. Now, let me just say this. All white people, I appreciate all of y'all white people. I appreciate all black people, all international people. I love, adore, and appreciate everybody all around the world. Now, if it was today's generation and the Jim Crow era took place, I don't think a lot of white people would agree with that. A lot of white people would not go for that at all. But a lot of white people actually back in the day, there was some that wanted to change the rules. And there was some white people that did not love the Jim Crow era at all. But because they was put in a position where they had to obey the laws or them get killed themselves, A lot of white people didn't have no choice but to obey and be haters of black people. And let me just say this. A lot of white people that mess with us. Hold on just a second. Let me capture this real quick. There we go. I'm gonna get my high school real quick. All right, look at that. Look at all those vehicles there at the Hardin County High School. Don't that high school look great, you all? That's one of the greatest high schools ever in Hardin County High School. To me, I enjoyed being at the Hardin County High School. It was phenomenal and it was incredible. Look at that black bear paw right there. Okay, but anyway, back to what I was saying about the coloreds only and whites only. A lot of white people actually agreed with us black people, and a lot of white people back then wanted to help, but because they was in a situation where they had no choice but to stay with their own kind and be with white people, they had to obey laws. And there was some white people, a few white people that rebelled. Some white people got punished for it. Very few survived. And the very few that survived can tell the story of how they made it and how they helped us black people. But coloreds only and whites only. So basically, back then, if you was at a restaurant, a bus station, at a church, sporting event, wherever the case may be, if it was a colored sign and a whites only sign, that means you had to stay with your own brand. So that meant that coloreds was black people and whites was white people. Now for internationals, I'm not for sure how that worked out officially back in the day, but I do know coloreds and whites was not allowed to be together in a lot of places. And that sucked literally for all of us. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, it'll be hard to separate me from white people because I love white people. I love all people, black people, international people. I love everybody. So it would have been hard to separate me from white people. But I'll tell you this. The coloreds and whites only, I hope that we don't ever go back to that stage ever again. Seeing that hurts a lot because that meant that you couldn't hang with everybody. And sometimes white people can't stand white people, black people can't stand black people, sometimes internationals can't stand international people. But what it was is in the Jim Crow era is that even though we was free as people, black people, they didn't want us to totally be free. They didn't want us to have right. They didn't want us to hang that if we work together, we could get a lot of things done. And that's like the devil. The devil don't want nobody to work together because the devil knows that if everybody starts working together, that he's done. So the devil's going to do whatever he can to put division into things. And that's what the devil did with the Jim Crow era. He put division into things. The serpent put division into things. The Jim Crow era, coloreds only and whites only, was nothing but division. All people deserve to be equal. All people deserve to have rights. All people deserve to have choices. We shouldn't be tied down because of the color of our skin. We should be lifted up by the content of our character and by the content of our voices. And we all have a voice. We have to choose to use it. We all have power. We got to choose to use it. We all have a saying. We got to choose to use it. No matter where we use it at, as long as we use it, as long as we have a voice, that's what matters the most. That's why with podcasts like these, we have voices. With music, we have voices. In our restaurants, in our jobs, in our communities, we have voices. On social media, we have voices. It all depends on where you use it. In our churches, we have voices. Whatever your platform is, wherever you choose to use your voice and you choose to use your power, use it in a positive way and in a good way. Now, the one thing about coloreds only and whites only is you had to work together. So basically, if another race or someone outside your culture messed with you, then the brothers and sisters around you protected you. And that's one positive thing that I loved about the coloreds and whites onlys, because everybody stuck up for each other all together. But besides that, the coloreds and whites only sucked, in my opinion. And I hope that we never, ever go back to those ever again. We cannot and we will not go back to that point. We will not repeat that history once again. We will not repeat it at all. I'm very excited and happy that we all are equal. We all have power. We all have voices. We all can be able to hang out together and be with who we want to be with. We all can do what we want to do. And that's what makes the whole world great. Whether you're international, whether you're black, white, wherever the case may be, we all have a voice. We all have power, and we all have a say in. We all have a say so. We just got to choose how to use it and where to use it. And so let me say this real quickly before we officially head out. I love, appreciate, and adore everybody all around the world. And I mean everybody all around the world. You all are my brothers, my sisters. To all my beautiful women in the building, to all my beautiful women and ladies all around the world, I love you all. Whether you're skinny, chubby, whether you're big, beautiful, whether you're black, white, I love all of you all. To all my brothers, I love all my brothers all around the world. And to everybody all around the world, I love and appreciate and adore you all so much. You all are loved, appreciated, and adored. No coloreds only and no whites only is going to separate us. No slavery is going to separate us. No Jim Crow era is going to separate us. I appreciate and love everybody all around the world. It's not about the color of your skin. It's all about the content of your character that matters the most. Well, with that in mind, we are just about out of time for the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast, episode 183. I appreciate everybody for tuning in for this episode of the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast, episode 183. It has been a memorable one and a great one to tune in to. And be sure to tune in later on for the 184th episode of the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast. We'll be back later on tonight around 10:30 or 11 o'clock for the Talk of Poncho's Palace podcast, episode 184. But to all the YouTube Live Nation chat, from Poker122 to Rex E, I appreciate you all tuning in. And to everybody that's tuned into the YouTube Live Nation chat, I appreciate all of you all tuning in very, very much. You all are loved, adored, and appreciated, no matter who you are and no matter where you're from and no matter how old you all are. You are loved, adored, and appreciated. Be sure, and everybody that's tuned into the live recording and previous recording, I appreciate you all and love you all also. You all are loved, adored, and appreciated. Just be sure to follow me on Facebook and my regular page in Joseph James Holland. Be sure to subscribe to my Facebook fan page at Poncho Blazing ATM, where you can only subscribe to me for just 99 cents. Along with that, be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page and Poncho Holland Vivo in order to receive live notifications and join the YouTube Live Nation chat. In addition to that, be sure to also tune into my mom, Prophetess Princess Holland Vivo, One Way Ministries, and GFR, Global Force Record Incorporated, YouTube and Facebook pages. In addition to that, be sure to also Subscribe, like, and share to my pages in OnlyFans, in Google, in Zang, and in TikTok. Ooh, hello. I'm seeing a lot of beautiful women here. And my brothers and sisters, of course. That is all my brothers and sisters and beautiful women. But keep blazing. Always have God in your life, no matter what. And we'll see you all later on tonight. And I'm signing out as of right now.